I heard a frightening statistic recently that some 90% of all realtors wash out in the first year. How to make real estate a career and thrive instead of just a hobby. That's next on the Jeff Crilley Show.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show. I can't tell you how many realtors I've met. They've gone through all the work to get accredited and start selling homes, and then the next thing you know, they're selling life insurance. It just doesn't work out. To talk about that problem, Jay Kinder, he's with the National Association of Expert Advisors. Thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah. So I don't get this part. I mean, if you say to yourself, I'm going to be a realtor, and you go through all the classes, and it's a lot of work, right?
It is a lot of work, yeah.
And then you only sell a house or two, and you flame out. Is it a stick-to-itiveness problem, or what's happening?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, it's there's not really anyone that has a real interest in making sure that you're successful. So, the real estate industry is inherently a recruiting model. They recruit agents. They hope you sell a couple of houses, and then if you stay in, you stay in. If you get out, you get out. And so there's not anybody that really has a focus on helping agents be successful. And once you get started, it's kind of overwhelming. You're learning contracts and all the things you need to do to be able to put a deal together, but nobody showed you how to get a customer. So
yes.
That's the real issue I think most agents deal with.
Have you found that most real estate companies are poor when it comes to the training piece? They just say, okay, you got your license.
It's fascinating how poor they are at helping agents get customers, and it's really, you almost have to be out there doing it in order to know how to do it, but most companies just don't have a track record of success. I mean, the average agent only sells 6 homes a year, so who's going to teach that if you're in your brokerage? Who's going to really have an interest in wanting to help you be successful? Because if you're doing something that's really working and an agent wants to know what it is that you're doing, and you're right there in the same office, they're probably not going to share their best ideas with you.
Yes.
Because they know you're going to be competition for them. So there's really not that collaborative nature within the office environment for people to really have an interest in wanting to help you be successful.
And you've built this into really a training and speaking empire. I found a nice video on your website. We're going to roll that right now.
Here's to the crazy, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs and the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules. They have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius, because the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do.
That was really well done. Okay, I want to hear your story. How did this happen for you? When did you know that you were going to be a great realtor?
Yeah, well, I don't think I knew. I don't think anybody knew. I always jokingly tell people I graduated in the top 25 of my class, but there was only 36 of us. And so, yeah, I mean, I got into real estate at like 19 years old. My dad was a broker. But I started learning, right? I started investing in going to different seminars and trying to find somebody that was doing it successfully. And then I would just go try something. And most of the things I would try wouldn't work. But then every once in a while something would work. And so that kept me hungry to figure it out. I didn't have really a whole lot of options. I mean, I was either selling real estate or I don't know what I was going to do, right? So it was just continuously trying to figure it out. And, I think like most successful people, we learned from others. There's no such thing as being self-made. Learned from other people that had success, and I became a pretty good copycatter, is the word. Jay Abraham, one of my mentors, always says, don't say copycatter, devalues the principle is modeling success, which is what I've done my whole career, is find people that have been where I'm trying to go and try to duplicate that same result, by doing exactly what they tell you that they did. And that's what I did.
How did you make the transition from just selling homes yourself to becoming the ultimate trainer?
Yeah, by the frustration of trying to become successful, through that process, I found that everyone was teaching like little pieces to the puzzle, but no one was giving you the code to the lock, so to speak. Right. How to build a business, which is what I was really trying to do. So I would learn a little bit from this one person, and it was prospecting, and then it was, okay, this guy's teaching direct response marketing, this one was teaching referrals and stuff like that, but nobody was like giving you all the pillars to it. And so by the time I figured that out and had built a successful business, 500 plus transactions a year, number 2 in the world for Coldwell Banker, I was really a little bit frustrated with the whole process of what it took to get to that point. And people started kind of coming to me and asking what I'd done to be successful, and I started having a lot more fulfillment in helping others than going out and selling another home. So started focusing on how do we help other people get success. And my good friend Michael Reese was one of the first people that came to me, and I didn't know what I'd done to be successful at the time. I was I'd done a lot of things that didn't work, so I didn't know. But he got the same website as me right out of the gate. Started generating leads right out of the gate. And he built his business to like over $1 million in GCI, which is unheard of, in 3 years. Well, it took me 6 years to do that. So we were both kind of surprised that was that easy. We're like, hey, I think we could help other people do this too. Wow. And that was really what, we became very excited about, helping other people that want to have success, help them to get there a lot faster than what we were able to, I was able to do, for sure.
That's got to be rewarding to see somebody and then take them to the next level, and then see how wonderful their life is.
Nothing better. It's one of the most fulfilling things that I've ever experienced, other than my family, my kids, is seeing someone's life change in that way, and their appreciation for your help and stuff like that is pretty awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely, and you're an awesome speaker. We've got a clip of you on stage. Tell us more about your speaking career. Have you always been a natural in front of an audience?
No, not at all. I remember the very first time I went to the radio station. I bought ads on the radio to market my real estate business, and I remember this thing was hanging in front of me, and I was so intimidated by it that I had to go. I said, guys, I can't do this. Like, I had to go back to the office and call in the radio spots because I couldn't talk in front of the mic. And I also remember I saw that you had the teleprompter out there. You mentioned that. I remember like for an hour in front of a teleprompter just trying to get it right. Don't mess up, please don't mess up, because this can't really be edited. And the challenge of trying to like just get comfortable speaking. It was definitely not natural for me. Maybe it is for some people, not for me. I struggled with it for quite some time before I finally just became, and I think if you know what you're talking about, it's a lot easier, and you're just genuine and be yourself, it works out.
If you had to come up with like the top 1 or 2 mistakes that realtors make that it's crippling their success, what would you say?
It's probably the number one thing is really who your mentor is. Like, that's, there's not anyone that wakes up every day thinking, how am I going to help this person be successful? Not in any brokerage, for the most part. You don't really have someone that's a vested interest in your success, and you only, and they're focused on you. So having a mentor, someone that's been successful, that has a track record of success, of helping other people have the same accomplishment, that's what you're really looking for. Because if they can do it, that's one thing. But if they can help others do it and have a track record of success, then that means they have a system, a process that's proven and repeatable, that they can help make sure that you execute on. And that's the secret. And that just wasn't out there for me, but that was my goal in trying to deliver something for real estate agents, that I could help anybody that really wanted to be successful get there.
That's awesome. Do you ever find a real estate company sending their entire team to you?
Yeah. The smartest ones do. Yeah, because it's, if either if they're providing that level of value, or your agents are going to go get it elsewhere. And for a lot of brokerages, unfortunately, the business model in brokerages, they don't really make that much off of the agent, so they don't have a lot of budget to bring in speakers and trainers and do all that stuff. So the training is really lacking. And so agents, typically, I did too. I went out, my dad owned the company, but I still had to pay a lot of money to go out and learn how to sell real estate elsewhere. And so they're already kind of doing that because the pressure on the commission that the broker experiences. Hey, I'm going to go down here where I can get 100% of my commission, and I'll pay for my own coaching. Right? So a lot of times that's really the challenge that the broker has, is they would like to provide that value, but they don't have enough margin in order to do that.
But I think in the long run, doesn't it pay off for the real estate company because their agents are selling more homes, they're more profitable, there's less turnover?
But it does create turnover because as soon as that agent starts to become more successful and they realize they're paying too much to that brokerage, they go off and they go to the place that they don't have to pay anything. So
Gotcha.
That was RE/MAX was the disruptor in the industry back then. RE/MAX came along, said, hey, we'll just give them 100%. So if you were doing any business on your own, if you learned how to get business on your own and the brokerage wasn't providing it, you might as well go to RE/MAX or go to this 100% place where I can keep all the money. Why am I giving any of it to the brokerage? Because there's not any value being provided by many brokerages. Not saying all of them, but many of them don't have a lot of value. And there's a number at which you would be willing to pay them, and then there's a number at which you're going to be looking to go elsewhere. And so there's that balance that's always there, that you're trying to deliver value, but not so much that they want to go somewhere else.
How has the pandemic affected your training business?
It was pretty easy for us. Obviously, now I'm at eXp Realty, so we're a cloud-based company. We have, as a corporate, has 700 employees. They didn't miss one meeting. It was pretty amazing when I saw that. I was like, wow, like this is how we operate already. So it wasn't much of a change for us at all, outside of having kids at home. And that whole thing was different for sure, teaching my kids. But that was so we didn't miss a beat as far as that goes. And it was really I think what kind of put a spotlight on the cloud-based business model of having having a space that you can go to and operate in and work from home and not have to deal with like how are we going to get all in the elevator up to the office and deal with working in that environment, knowing what's going on with your transactions. Who am I going to talk to? How am I going to talk to them? Am I on Zoom, or how do we do that? So for us, I think it was a little bit different. But sales slowed down a little bit, but real estate's a resilient industry. Like people want to buy and people want to sell, and when that dynamic is there, and there's a shortage of inventory already, and now there's kind of a shortage of inventory coming on the market, buyers are still out there calling realtors, and realtors are, regardless of what the state law might be about whether it's in here in Texas, it was considered whatever services what I can't think, words not coming to me, but we were able to go do our jobs, and so that enabled us to continue to sell, and there's plenty of buyers out there. So, and I think it's probably it's changed the training industry, and that the consumer is now used to getting training on the computer, and it's not a thing anymore. It's just that's how it's done. 100%. Yeah, that's, and we've done large scale events. I still love being with people. Like that's I'm a people person, but we've been able to adapt, and we're downstairs in one of your studios doing our Agent CEO series that would have normally been live, and we'd have loved to have the people in the room. But they adapted. They're still getting that training. They're still able to get the things they need to learn and grow. And we've adapted and keep going.
Outstanding. Well, thank you so much for coming in and giving us the wisdom.
Yeah.
We're going to put your website up to close the show. jkinder.com is the website. Get a hold of him for all your needs, especially if you're a realtor and you want to take your game to the next level.
Appreciate it.
Jay, thank you so much.
Patrick.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.